Good afternoon. It's Tuesday the 8th of May. I'm in the reading nook. It's a bright, sunny afternoon. And of course, nice hot cup of tea. And a box to delve into. Now this one is already open, so I've plumbed much of what's in here. So let's see what we've got down below. So I've already looked at Mysteries of the World for Scion. Titanomachy again for Scion. So it's not all Scion. Yugman's Guide to Gelspad for the Scartlands. And if you get the impression that this is all books from Onyx Path Publishing, you would be correct. Dystopia Rising, Evolution, the basic post-apocalyptic zombie game in which you're all members of the undead, which I enjoyed looking at, and I really enjoyed the quick start they did. And so down we get to the last thing in the book, which is Scion 2nd edition, Book 2, Hero. The savage titans have escaped their eternal prison to wage war against the gods once more. The battles in the lands of myth have spilled over into our world, but even the gods cannot stop their personal rivalries and squabbles long enough to care for the peoples who worship them. Find your destiny, seize your birthright. Scion Hero details the children of the gods when they have been touched by the divine, awakening to the miraculous power their parents willed. But this great power comes with grave responsibility. The Scions must negotiate between the human world and the divine one, acting as intermediaries and shielding the worshippers of their parents from harm. Can they struggle to fulfill their fate and still remain tied to what they care for most? This book includes knacks and boons, the incredible miracles wielded by Scions, powered by the story path system, character creation systems for heroes, the first step of a Scion's evolution towards divinity, 10 pantheons, the Algonquin, Aztec, Chinese, Egyptian, Japanese, Greek and Roman, Hindu, Irish, Norse and Yoruban gods, all suitable for parentage of your Scion. Advanced information on the world, the setting of Scion, complete with fearsome enemies to oppose your Scion. So this is a sequel, or the next step on from Scion Book 1 Origin. And what you play in this are not demigods. You are the offspring of gods and mortal men or women, and you essentially, you don't know necessarily that you are touched by the divine, or necessarily who your mythic parent is at the start of the game. You may not, and you certainly don't have that spark of the divine as yet. You are on the road to it, and here is the first step to it. We have going through. So that's a picture just to show you. There we go. There's a picture of Book 1 Origin, which is which I've already done an unboxing of, and I've also reviewed as well. We've got a good list of the pantheons in here: the Aesir, the North gods, Deva, the Hindu, Vedic gods of India, Kami, the Japanese gods, and so on. And you'll find more gods listed in the supplements as well. And then the suggested media you should watch, but basically Vikings and Mage the Hero discovered by Matt Wagner, Lucifer by Mike Carey, Incredible Hercules, Mythender, Godbound, and so on, as another role-playing game. And this game's essentially, this is a game where you become increasingly non-human, in the essence that you are taking on more and more elements of your god's portfolio, your purview, as it were. Essentially what happens is nascent skies live lives touched by myth, more so even than the typical denizen of the world. The world essentially is one where you not only have the gods, you have the gods we have today, but you also have the gods as we knew them in the past, and they are real, and their worship and faith exist alongside ours. And the gods may well be the subject of gossip magazines, or politicians might seek out them as patrons, but generally they don't get involved in the affairs of man. They leave that up to the player characters. Because one of the elements is, in the past, is of course that the gods basically imprisoned those that came before them, and as a result, they're trying to get they're sending their agents out to do their basically try and free themselves from the prison. Basically, the Gaians, or I forget their name. I'm sorry, but essentially the Titans are their agents, the monsters. So the Scions live natural lives, live touched by myth. Some will go without grasping the divine, skating on providence and charm. Others confront their nature or directly, or are confronted by it. A god appears in a storm of holy fire, bearing an annunciation of divine heritage. Monsters torment the Scion of a family, not merely stalking but attacking en masse, like iron finding to a magnet, until she has no choice but to fight back, and so on. So essentially, the characters are confronted by a visitation of whether of their parentage, of their true nature, of what they'll become, and so they will go on to take on elements of their parents. So we really talking about the nature of the visitation here. Go. And it varies, as you can see. Basically, and I say the point is that I'm looking at this for the first time. I've just got this out of the box, and I'm picking up some of the information off the page, and I'm also at the same time I am just riffing on the contents in here, and a little bit upon what I read when I reviewed book 1, Origin, which is my introduction to Scion. Because I didn't look at it when it was a first edition. Partly, I wasn't reviewing White Wolf or Onyx Path Publishing at the time. And that's fine. I was just basically I was still busy. So we've got a discussion of the pantheons and the mantles of divinity. So we basically go through the gods in quite detail. So basically here the principles of the Aesir. So we start off with Thor, god of thunder, rain and crops. Then we look at Frigg, goddess of marriage and destiny. Hel, goddess of the realm of the dead. Balder, god of love, beauty and peace. And it's going to be interesting coming to this when you think that so many people's basically idea of what the Norse pantheon is going to be like is going to be taken from something like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So indeed, you can have Loki, god of trickery, as one of your parents. He is listed there. So you've got, it's not just a case of choosing your pantheon. You choose your god. So you have 10 pantheons in here, and there's multiple gods within each pantheon. So plenty of choice as to the nature of your character. We have Pantheon Path, and basically Pantheon Paths, which you would follow as a member of that Pantheon. So, for example, the path skills for the Aesir are close combat and occult, birthrights. You can have those as well, and then it does the same for each of the different pantheons. So the Deva of South Asia, so the Hindu and Vedic gods. There we go. Basically illustrations of them all there. And that's what a lot of the book is about, really, right down to, where are we? The first 168 pages. The first 668 pages is there's fiction in here as well. But essentially that is talking about the nature of being divine and the gods themselves. Just that section there. And then we come on to character creation, and with the ready-made characters. So there we go. These are already playing. You can see there's a story path character sheet there. The story path system is an evolution of Storyteller. It's still You're still rolling handfuls of D10, 10-sided dice to score successes. Simple enough. But essentially, you have 9 attributes. You have fewer skills, and you can combine any skill with any skill with any attribute. If basically persuade the GM that it works, and that's fine. Roll the dice and go. You need 1 success, generally 1 success to succeed, and then after that, essentially, more successes means you have more things. You can improve the outcome of your roll. You can make it faster or better. You might want to try and, if you're in combat, you might want to disarm the enemy you're fighting. Anyway, so these characters themselves are all continuations of the NPCs given in Origin, the first book. Basically, you've got an explanation of how character creation works, taking you through from concept, skills, attributes, and so on. Basically, I mean, that's all fairly standard, but easy to understand, easy to grasp once you've done it for one, but you can do it for the other. And then you discussion the various elements of the characters, traits and callings, and they add further elements to the game. So essentially, this is a role-playing game of, it's an urban fantasy role-playing game, but essentially in which you play gods, basically gods in the making, as it were. We come on to powers, because essentially, where in Origins you really didn't have any powers as gods to be, you do. You have that visitation, your abilities have been awakened, and you can begin to basically express your powers and be truly who your parent wants you to be. And of course, facing that problem of the pull back between your godhood and your humanity. That's the core, sort of like the dilemma present in the game. And we've got the last section, of course, is on mythic storytelling. And it's talking about the Western structure, how to create character, how to create a story, how to fit basically the character types into story structures. So it does talk about Western and non-Western stories, talking about spectacle and drama, setting the stage, iconic locations, so on, crafting layered and interwoven stories, mythic obstacles, triumph and tragedy. They've got a toolkit of plots in here as well. So everything that the story guide might face, and they've got a bigger they come, hero antagonists, full list of those. So like that. Got a nice bit of illustration here onwards, which I like, which it basically draws from the character creation process. So basically the Chinese American, basically the mixed race character on the left there, confronting part of his heritage. On the right, basically he was created during the in the character creation first in book 1, Origins. So more fiction, rounding it out. Before we've got basically an appendix of legendary creatures and so on, and then a deep and lengthy a lengthy index. Just check see anything else interesting in here. Anything stands. So yeah, that is Scion Book 2 Hero, available from Onyx Path Publishing. So I want to thank them for sending me the copy. Thank you very much. I will review this in due course. In the meantime, if you have enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook, please do click the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I do take the time to read those and respond, and appreciate you posting those. And of course, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, please do click the subscribe button. I would appreciate that too. And lastly, of course, again, thank you for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I'll be back again soon with another one. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy the last of my nice hot cup of tea. And I'll be back again with another unboxing in the Nook very soon. Bye for now.